If you had a word or two or three to describe or sum up these last 40 plus years here at Hampton University, what would those words be?
Excelling, excelling above the rest. And I think that the reason that we have done as well as we've done is because of our team. And we've had different teams. Clearly, I'm the team leader, but the fact is that I believe that the team is the reason that we have done as well as we've done. You know, if you look at some of the things that we have done, we've introduced some 92 new degree granting programs, including 12 doctoral programs. Our endowment has increased 866%. You look at the fact that we've built 29 buildings. Our students are excelling. They are winning Fulbright fellowships, Schwartzman's fellowships. We've got finalists for the Rhodes. They athletically, we are winning there. We moved into a new conference. We moved in and won 4 championships. Men and women won indoor and outdoor basketball. So if you think about the fact that our North Star here at Hampton, basically 2 priorities. One, to have a top flight academic program, and 2, to help build character. And that's part of my personal journey. I believe so strongly in character building and the character traits of honesty, integrity, respect for oneself, respect for others, good personal behavior, helping others. And that's what we do here at Hampton. And I think all of those things incorporated by the team, my colleagues, have helped to do some of the things that we have done.
You talk about the number of accomplishments since you became president here at Hampton University. You talk about student enrollment increasing, the number of buildings have increased, and you all have added several and a slew of buildings here on campus. Out of everything you've done here in the last 40 plus years, what have you enjoyed most about being the president here at Hampton University?
Well, I believe very strongly that the chief raison d'etre, or the reason for being for Hampton University, is the promotion of learning. And since I've been president, some 35,000 students have graduated. And that's what we're in business to do, to promote learning. Students have come here from literally all over the world. Some of the best students in the world have come here, and they have not only matriculated here, but they've graduated. Over 35,000. And I'm a student-oriented president. I don't just stick in this office. I walk around. I occasionally go down to the dining hall. I occasionally go to the student center. When I walk down to the faculty dining hall, I stop, and a number of students want to take pictures with me and things like that. I enjoy that because, again, it's the whole person. And one of the things that I say to our students is, I don't care what you do when you graduate from Hampton. I don't care if you are a doctor, a lawyer, or an Indian chief. The thing that I am most interested in is your being a good person and contributing to society. Yes, that you can be successful financially, but if you don't do that, that means, in my judgment, you are a failure, and we are a failure, and I don't like failure.
You somewhat hinted, but when you're out on campus, walking, wherever you go, when you see the students and that interaction, what is it like? I mean, how much do you enjoy that interaction with students? Wanting to come take pictures with you, and just what is that interaction like? How much do you enjoy that part of being president?
I enjoy interacting with students because, remember, I said that I think that the chief reason for being is the promotion of learning, and to try to make sure that students understand how important it is that they be good people, and that they contribute, and that they serve and have good character. And I think that helping others is one of the things that I try to instill in them, and I do that by example. People can, as they say, talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. So I enjoy that, and I do it every day, and I've done it every day during the 42 years that I've been here.
Did you see yourself when you first stepped foot on campus here 42 years ago? Did you see yourself being president this long?
I did not. I've always been a planner, though, And what I looked at all these years is 5-year tenure. 5 years. And I try to set my goals, and working with my board, working with my colleagues on the faculty, on the administration, then we set goals. I mean, it's just like we have goals now. We're talking about a Caribbean initiative because we believe very, very strongly that Hampton could be, and perhaps should be, the top institution in the world that's dealing with health disparities of people of color. And the Caribbean, in the Caribbean, there are so many that are either number one or number two, countries that are either number one or number two as it relates to health disparities in cancer, in heart disease, in diabetes, in obesity, in melanoma in Hispanics, and things like that. So I think that we are primed to help in that regard. That's one thing. Another initiative, we're looking at Governor Doug Wilder's idea of a slave museum. Hampton University's museum is the oldest museum, African American museum in the entire country. And if we combine that with his idea, and he has given all of the assets of the slave museum that he started when he was governor to Hampton, if we combine that, it's going to be a great thing. It's going to be a showplace. It's going to be a tourist attraction. It's going to be educational. It's going to be economic development. It's going to be cultural. So Hampton thinks big. I am one who believes that to dream no small dreams. I'll let others dream the small dreams. And that's what we do here.
What led you to Hampton University? How did you end up getting here to Hampton University 42 years ago?
Well, I'm a native of Alabama. I went to Talladega College and I went to Virginia State where I met my wife. That was one of the better things that's ever happened to me as well. And then I went to Harvard and I did extremely well at Harvard. And then I was hired as a very low administrator, an assistant to the dean. And I was being promoted actually from an assistant to the dean to an assistant dean. But I've always been an advocate of people following their own North Star. And what I wanted to do was to come back south and work at a predominantly black school. All of my advisors, all of my mentors at Harvard said that my star could have risen faster if I'd stayed at Harvard. That may have been correct, but I like to follow my North Star. I don't want to follow others' North Star. So I left and I went to Fisk University as assistant to the president. Then I went to Tuskegee as a vice president, stayed there for 6 years, and then I came here 42 years ago. I wanted to make sure that I could use whatever energy, talent, influence that I had to help mostly black students. Now, at every one of those places, including Hampton, we've got white students. And I don't discriminate against anybody, men, women, young, old, gay, straight. I don't. I look for talent. I look for those that can contribute. And that's on the faculty and staff as well as the student body. My mother and my father taught me that, and I'm happy that they did because, you know, there's so much vitriol in our society today. People are just fighting. People need to understand that there are those with different points of view, and sometimes you got to work together for the common good. So that's how I got here. That's why I'm here, and I'm here by my own volition. I could have been at Harvard or someplace else, because when I was an administrator at Harvard, there were only 2 African-American administrators, a fellow named Bernie Bruce and me. And as I said, they didn't want me to leave. I mean, I had done well, as I said, academically and in my work. But I had to follow my North Star, and my North Star took me south.
Wow. Talk about obviously all the accomplishments and achievements here at Hampton University, and although there are plenty of them, I'm sure there have been some challenges in the last 40 plus years. I mean, when you look back, I mean, what have some of those challenges been, and how have you been able to overcome those challenges, whatever they may be?
Well, let me say this. Any leader faces challenges. But the thing that I have tried to do as a part of my life, and I have written about what I'm about to tell you, I have lectured on it, and I have followed it. there are always snakes, but snakes like to fool around in the weeds. They don't like heights. So I just keep on climbing. I don't pay any attention to that. I look for the common good. I look to where Hampton was when I came. I look to the collective talent of the faculty, the staff, and indeed the students. And we work together to try to make sure that we can accomplish those things. I don't spend time worrying about the snakes, okay?
How has Hampton University impacted the city of Hampton and Hampton? You've been in this community for so many years now. How have you all impacted and been able to help the city of Hampton and Hampton Roads economically over the last 40 plus years?
Well, our economic impact is tremendous. You know, when I came, we had about 2,700 students. We got up to 6,300. And unlike a lot of institutions, we are not enrollment driven, so we purposefully cut back because our student faculty ratio had gotten up to about 18-1. And I want to keep it where it is now, about 14-1. So we purposefully cut back. But the fact is, we are an economic engine for the city of Hampton. If you look at the fact that the students that we have, they spend money. We got ball games, football, baseball, basketball, not baseball, I'm sorry, football, basketball, and all the others. We got 19 sports. So visitors, teams, and others that come into town, you know, when we have parents that come in, when we have things that people who are out of town come. If you look at the Hampton Jazz Festival that started right here on our campus, we now share that with George Wein Production as well as the city of Hampton. We have the lion's share. Well, you think about the economic impact. And as a lot of people probably know, I was asked by the mayor and the city manager to lead an effort to revitalize downtown Hampton. And I was pleased to do that because, again, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. And I can't tell students to give back and to help others and be of service, and I don't do it. So I was very pleased to be involved in that. But there are other things as well, and not just here at Hampton. You know, entrepreneurially, we started some 40 years ago doing things that schools weren't doing then. There aren't a lot of them even doing it now. But for an example, we built 4 hotels. We built the Williams Mullins Law Center in Richmond. We built a shopping center. We do these kind of things, and that helps with our entrepreneurial aspect of bringing in profits to aid our endowment, to aid our students. Because I don't know the exact percentage, but probably 85 or 90% of the profits we make on our entrepreneurial activities go to student scholarships. I believe in that. I believe in that. And personally, my wife and I have been very generous to Hampton. My latest book, every penny of profit goes to student scholarship. I've also have the largest publisher in China that has translated my book into Mandarin, and they are going to publish it. And I haven't gotten any money yet, but when I do, every penny will go. I was approached by a major publishing firm to do another book, and they gave me a contract, and what they do with that is they give you half of the money. So I've gotten half of the money, and I gave that to Hampton for student scholarships. I believe in giving back, and I don't believe in always trying to take credit for. A whole lot of students don't know that my wife and I have given millions of dollars for student scholarships here. And they don't need to know. I don't do it for anything other than it's the right thing to do because I've been blessed. As some folk know, I'm 100% owner of a Pepsi-Cola bottling company. So, you know, I can do these kinds of things, and when I can help somebody, because so many people in my life have helped me.
We're almost done. Thank you so much for talking about what you and your wife have been able to do and contribute back here to Hampton University for the students, which was going to be one of my other questions. But when I'm out there sitting, before I came in here, obviously I see the pictures on the wall. A number of presidents you've been blessed and been able to meet over the last 40 plus years. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, who was here a couple of years ago. I believe Jimmy Carter I saw out there. A number of presidents. Your thoughts right now on the political climate and the upcoming presidential race right now, and just your thoughts about what's going on politically. I know late last night the House voted on a resolution to condemn the president for his tweets about racism, but just your thoughts right now on the current political climate and presidential campaign that's happening right now.
I'll be glad to talk to you generally about the political climate. I'm not going to talk about any of these specifics, but I do think that the current political climate is toxic, and it's not just one-sided. It's both sides. I think that people need to understand the way it used to be, that people would work hard to get elected, and then they work to govern for the people. Now, they govern for the party, and that's just not good. That's not good. And the fact is that that's what's going on in Washington now, on both sides. And so, you talked about the fact that they voted to condemn the president.
His remarks.
Yeah, but the parliamentarian and the chair also said that the remarks were against the parliamentary rules. You don't need to do that. You need to see if you've got differences. Sit down and talk about them and see how you can do some things together, Democrat, Republican. And yes, I have been in the Oval Office with every single president since Jimmy Carter. Now, one of the reasons that they called me up there is because I don't spin things with them. When I go in, if you want to talk to me, I don't want to tell you what I think you want to hear. I let some of the other people do that. I tell it to them straight. They don't have to follow my advice. I met last Monday with the U.S. Secretary of Education, and I got some things that I'm going to be doing as it relates to this massive student debt. Even back in 1986, when the student debt got to be $10 billion, I and some other presidents said that we're facing a crisis. People didn't listen. From 86 to 2019, it is now $1 trillion, 500 billion. From 10 billion to 1 trillion, 500 billion. It's a crisis. I've got some thoughts, and I think that there are things that everybody can do. Students, parents, institutions, the federal government. Just as an example, the federal government borrows money from the U.S. Treasury, and it fluctuates, but it's somewhere around 3%. Then last year they charged the students over 5%. Why are they making money on the students? Now that's just one thing, because I think that students can do more, and I believe in hard work. When I was in college, I worked. I had 2 jobs. I washed glasses in the dining hall, and I worked in the snack bar. So that's the kind of thing that everybody can do. Unfortunately, so many young and maybe even older folk today believe in an entitlement. I don't. I believe in hard work getting you where you want to go. So I'm saying students can do some things, parents can do some things, the institution can do some things, and the federal government can do some things. And I talked to the U.S. Secretary of Education about that, and I'm going to pursue that. And I got that in that new book that I've got coming out. And the publisher is HarperCollins, by the way, one of the large publishing firms that's associated with Hachette, which is a French publishing company. But I'm going to talk about those things, and I don't try to talk about things that people want to hear. I try to talk about things that make it better. And if they want to talk to me, that's fine. I wish that in the political climate, people could go back to doing that. As I said, work hard to get elected, and then govern for the people rather than govern for the party.
Not sure if you're ready or prepared to say, which candidate you're looking at right now you like the most. I don't know if you're ready to or if there's something you want to talk about, or just someone you're keeping an eye on right now as far as Democratic or Republican?
I'm keeping an eye on everybody, and yeah, I do have a favorite, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. I got a favorite because I will tell you this: I am a political independent. I have supported Democrats. I've supported Republicans. When I was 9 years old, my daddy told me that there are good people and scoundrels in both parties. He said, support the person rather than the party. I've done that with my vote. I've done that with my support. I've done that with my money.
How much longer do you see yourself in this role here as president of Hampton University?
I have a timetable. I haven't articulated to anyone yet. At some point, I will, but I have a timetable.
When it's all said and done, what do you want your team and the students here on campus, faculty and staff, what do you want them to remember about you here at Hampton?
You know, I'm not even sure that I am important. What's important is this institution. This is an outstanding institution by any objective analysis. And I stress objective because under any objective analysis, Hampton University is one of the best modest-sized universities in the country. Not one of the best black schools. It's one of the best modest-sized universities in the entire country. And I can back that up. If you look at things like the fact that as you and I are talking, we got 4 satellites flying. No other school in this state has that. We have the world's largest proton beam cancer treatment center. We're treating prostate, breast, lung, ocular, pediatric, spine, head, neck, and brain cancers. The fact is that we have a giant antenna that's on the tallest building in Hampton, which belongs to the university. We bought that about 3 years ago, and we can detect storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, up to 2,500 miles away, more so than even the National Weather Service. As a matter of fact, we're in talks right now with the possibility of doing some things with them. You look at our students, you know, Fulbright Fellows, Schwartzman Fellows, Rhodes Scholar finalists. Look at, again, the athletics program. And I say this all the time, and I repeat myself because I'm real proud of that. We went into a new conference, won 4 championships in the new conference, and going to win more than that this coming year. So if you look at our student body, I'm proud. You look at the faculty, the kinds of things that they are doing. I got faculty members that have patents on breast cancer detection devices, on artificial limbs, on cancer kinds of things. We are easing human misery and saving lives here at Hampton. And again, I'll end that statement with how I began. It's not me, it's the team. I am the team leader, and I'm a tough team leader. I'm a strong manager, I'm a tough manager, because I believe that that's the thing to do. I believe in leadership. I think that anything that has a good leader will succeed. If you don't have a good leader, that's going to be difficult. But the leader can't do it by him or herself. So the fact is that Hampton University is what's important. And what I hope is after I retire, unlike some presidents who don't want things to do well after they leave, I'm going to help the next president because my Rolodex is long in the federal government, in corporate America, and in foundations. I'm going to help. You know, and so what I hope is, under any circumstances, we have grown. You know, as I mentioned earlier, in the endowment, in buildings, 29 buildings, in new programs, 92, 12 new doctoral programs. But I want Hampton to continue to grow, to continue to excel. I'll say this. General Armstrong, the founder of this wonderful place, said that he wanted everything at his institution to excel. The 12th president wants the same thing.
Wow. I think you summed it up pretty nicely right there. I don't have anything else unless you wanted to add anything else or just end on a final note, but that's pretty much it for me. If there's anything else you want to add or mention before we wrap up.
No, I'm just glad to be of some support and help to you, and you keep on doing well. And remember what I said that I tell my students, you know, go out and serve. That's how you can really be great. And so you continue to do that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right.